this is a really cool dish. Hang on a second, just fix Maggie's ear there. A quick dish that really will again impress on the dinner table. Now it's a satay beef with a crispy noodle, okay? The trick to all this stuff, you can see that I've done the prep. I've got the two pots going, heating up, a little bit of dash of oil in both. So just a combination, you can put anything in these. We're going to do a beef stir fry. And I think I've mentioned this before, when you cook the beef stir fry, you've got to do it really quick, the beef, and make sure that you don't overcook it because it does get tough. So I like to, we might cook that first and then put it aside and then do the vegetables as well. Actually take it out and then do the vegetables. Just in terms of what veggies we're going to throw in there, I'll do a separate sort of side of broccolini just with some butter and salt, and that goes in the microwave just for 4 or so minutes, so we won't need to do that until the end. Obviously got some shredded carrot there, some bok choy, cut up bok choy. I'll put a squeeze of lemongrass in. There'll be some spring onions, coriander, chili to taste, a little bit of bean sprouts on top, and then a peanut sauce which gives it that satay flavour. Now that could be a gado sauce. That could be just a peanut sauce. You could make your own peanut butter with a bit of coconut milk or coconut cream and mix it in yourself, depending on what you do, and then some crunch on top. Now with the noodles, we're going to put those in first because these take probably the longest. Just any kind of those noodles you buy in a pack like that. Now, you don't need to cook these. So what you're going to do is break it up, and what you'll see there is I'm just going to put it in a really hot pan, break it up, so they don't stick. Careful, that's going to stick. And you're going to allow that to crunch up over a little bit of time. Now, it does take a little bit of time, so we're going to leave it for a while. Get that pack open, get the noodles in. You could use an egg noodle, which is a yellow one. This is, something similar. But what you're going to do is, and we'll get that in, and we'll just keep pushing that down. Now, you might want to add a little bit of oil to that later, but that should be all right for the time being. So, hot pan there, that's getting really hot. I'm going to put in some, just a splash of oil. This is for that quick cook of the beef, okay? So we'll cook that fairly quick. Pardon me, work behind your back. So we're going to put in some onions first, red onions, put them all in together. Plain hand, splash of garlic as well. And then just with all that really quick, get that beef in. You can hear that sizzling. This really won't take that long. You want to move it around a little bit. Hot pan, be careful with hot pan. And just move that around as much as you can, just to brown off the meat, because you don't want to overcook it. Because what happens when you overcook the beef or any of those sort of red meats, it'll get tough. So I really want to do it really quick, okay? You've got your garlic in there, you've got your onion, and you've got your beef strips, just quick. So literally, with a little bit of that oil, we're not far off. Because you just want to cook it slightly, because when we put it all together, it's still going to have a bit of that heat. And I prefer it to be a softer, a little bit longer. I prefer that to be softer than hard. And you might want to season that slightly. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Again, to taste. Now you could put chili in now, some chili flakes, or depending on your palate, you might want to put those on top after. So let's have a quick look at that. That literally is almost done. So I'm just going to let that, just to those red bits go, slightly brown it. That's on a relatively high heat as well. Now, just coming over here to those, just having a look. So that's going to need a little bit of oil, a little bit. You don't want it to stick to the pan, okay? So, because then it becomes very difficult to get out. But then again, you don't want to make it too oily, because the whole idea is to make it fairly crunchy. Just making sure it doesn't stick to the pan. A little bit of that oil on the side, and we'll let that go. We'll let that go for a little bit, we'll have a look at that, and then we'll come back and show you the veggies. So that's still going. I took the beef off because that's ready, lots of great juice in there. Leave this pan on, or this pot still on, just a little bit of extra oil in there, because that's all been soaked up from the beef cooking. And this is where we're just adding stuff in. I've got the broccoli or broccolini in the microwave going, so sequentially everything's on track. People know me, I'm about process, and I like following process, if not create my own. So We've got our spring onions in there, we've got coriander, we've got that bok choy, we've got some of those really good vegetables, some of that carrot, and just giving that a mix around, letting that just sort of cook. It's not a long process, this. And to help along, so this is a peanut sauce, a gado. And then we're going to bring it all together and then plate it up on top of the noodles. Now there's also just a little splash of lemongrass there. You can just see just a half a teaspoon and a half, maybe a teaspoon of lemongrass. That's optional. You might want to put ginger in or a bit more garlic, whatever you like. There is garlic in there as well, so that's already been put in with the beef, so you don't want to overdo that. And you can smell that peanutty from it. Okay, so let's have a little look at these here. Great, that's coming on nicely. I'm going to just try and make sure you get it off the edge. That could do just a little bit more oil just to help it along, get that crunch. And we'll come back shortly and show you how to plate it up and what those crispy noodles look like. Just going to transfer that beef into that one dish there, getting that all in and giving that a little kind of a mix through. Just let it sit. I've turned the heat off as well so that beef doesn't continue to cook at that rate it was. And mixing that juice through, you can see the vegetables and the gado sauce or the peanut flavoured kind of satay sauce, which gives it that awesome flavour. Now, I'll just come over to the noodles. So, what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to flip it and just show you, oh awesome, see how it's all stuck together? That shows you that you're getting that crisp. Look at that. Yeah, fantastic. So, that's ready to, almost ready to go. We'll let that go for a little bit and then I'm going to plate it up and show you. And we're going to add on top some bean sprouts, some chopped up chilli, and a couple of crunchy peanuts or cashews to give that extra flavour. All right, noodles, crunchy. Listen, you can still hear them going. Now, that is like a little Japanese pancake. Look at that. So taking that out, it's obviously fairly hot. Be very careful with it. I'm just going to chop that up. So there's 4 of us. So just cutting through that into quarters. Get a crunch on that. Little bed of crunchy noodles and soft in between. And also this roti bread. Now this roti bread's great. Just bought from the supermarket. Make your own if you like. But you can put that in the toaster. Okay, just in the toaster and have it as a little side comment. I'm going to plate that up and show you what it looks like shortly.